yeah, I just kind of internalize that, and I don't want any confrontation. I don't want to understand what is happening. I've never seen anything like this before, and I'm not quite sure that I want to know.
We're just gonna purge that from the memory and think about it never. So as you guys all go ahead and leave, you see one of the Myconids. He kind of like walks up to you and kind of like sits like where he can see the paper, and he like helps you read through this document, and I will send it to you individually.
Okay.
But as the rest of you guys walk out, you see that Luke is kind of, he sat down next to Overham. They've kind of moved over towards the big bonfire in the center of the room. And Overham has a little bit of color back in him. He looks like he's feeling a lot better.
I'll sit down next to Luke. How is he?
He's good. He's tired.
I'll just kind of like run a hand down his back, like just a little soothing hand.
Luke or Overham?
Luke.
I just wanted to make sure. You see him kind of like shudder a little bit, and he's like, and then he just turns to you and he goes, how are you?
And I'll just like I'll take my hand back. I suppose we're fine now, thanks to you and Overham.
And you see him kind of like blush a little bit, and he gets a smile across his face, and he's like, I didn't do anything special.
So Emmerin will kind of speak up at this point. And what happened to these two?
Well, so do you remember when we were downstairs and you said it looked like we had the fight handled, and I was like, oh, absolutely, we had it handled.
Sure.
We didn't have it handled. And these two kind of came in and saved our asses.
That could have been you, but you know, it doesn't seem like you like to help people.
Wasn't what I was paid to do.
Just always out for $1, aren't you?
I'm pretty sure you're the ones that took all the metal to sell at market, didn't you?
He has a point.
Did he see that?
He was standing right there. Do you and your people need any metal from money or whatever you might want to use it for?
Nay, we're fine. Consider it an apology that I didn't interrupt you the first time.
If you stick with us long enough, you'll get a chance to help us again, I'm sure.
He just kind of gives you a curt nod. Right, should we be getting out of here then? What is there other spots you haven't seen?
I take out the map with the new spot on it, and I show it to Luke and Avram and point it out and ask them if they know anything about it. Hey, I've happened to find this map over in that room over there. I was looking it over, and I noticed there was a marking down here to the south on this island in the river. Do either of you happen to know anything about that? I haven't noticed it marked on any other maps that I've been looking at.
Avram kind of takes a second, and he looks over, and he looks at it for a second, and he goes, yes, Barisa, that used to be a wonderful city, actually. It had some of the most beautiful gardens and some of the most incredible places for alchemical ingredients that I have ever seen.
You used to?
Oh yes, it fell with, and he kind of waves his hand around a little bit, and all of this, it didn't last long.
And I'll hold out that paper that we found with that stone and be like, well, perhaps our friends are there.
As soon as you hold that stone out, Avram immediately like grabs your hand. Where did you get this?
We on the way here there was an outpost that we came upon. I tried to interact with some, it looked like humanoid figures, and then they disappeared, and this appeared with this parchment paper, and it says that we won't be able to find them, but I don't know who they are.
And he just pauses for a second. That's more than disconcerting.
Great. Why is that?
This stone, as it were, is from what we call the Celestial Ocean. It is the place in between worlds. It is part of what I use to find you. And it concerns me that something has reached out from it to you. But, as it were, Barisa, yes, it used to be a city, it has fallen, but I do believe that if that is where you would like to go, maybe we should spend the night here. It is quite easily fortified, it is safe. It could be a good place for you to set up some type of base camp, as it were, if that is something you're interested in.
Doc, I got 2 questions for you.
Go for it.
Would Emmerin know what does Evram know about Overham? He's heard the name, but
so you would have kind of think of him in the way that a lot of people in Middle Earth know Gandalf. Everybody knows the name. They kind of have heard different things about him and what he has done for them or around, just nothing crazy, but enough information that you would definitely have an idea. You know that he is some type of magic wielder, and that he is, generally speaking, overly helpful to the people.
Who's Gandalf?
wow.
And we're done.
So remember we talked about getting rid of Zam in the earlier today? Can we just confirm that?
He likes to do it because he knows it's my favorite and he doesn't like it.
Oh, you don't like Lord of the Rings?
We don't have to get into that right now.
It's not judgment. I just do.
No, it's judgment. He's one of those people who is like, why didn't the Eagles just take them to Mordor?
So the second question, BK.
Would Emmerin have heard of Barisa?
You would definitely know of it. You would know very much the same information that I just relayed to the party, that it was a city. It was known for its massive gardens of alchemical ingredients. That is where a lot of the potions for a good portion of the realm actually came from. A lot of the more rare herbs and things of that nature, they cultivated and made sure that they maintained. It was a place that it was also a sanctuary for things like that, for plants and for the rarer herbs and animals and things like that.
So given that, Emmerin will kind of lean in and say, Sir Overham, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Emmerin Fall.
And he kind of he extends a hand very shakily. You can tell that he's very much exhausted. You're not sure why, but you see that his demeanor, he looks a little bit pale. He looks shaky, but he extends his hand to you and he says, "It's a pleasure to meet you. Where were you?"
I was in the basement.
Not helping.
Precisely.
I didn't know there was a basement.
Yes, sir. Passage over there. I come from the Circle of the Sanguine.
And he kind of gives you a small, like, not a bow. I mean, first of all, he's sitting down, but like kind of that like acknowledgement that he knows, he understands.
Gotcha.
Do I know anything about that group from the readings that I've been doing? It was a history book. I don't know if that.
Go ahead and roll a history check for me.
I know nothing. I got a 7.
You probably would have come across the name maybe once or twice, but it would have not been anything pertinent. Like it might register that you saw it, but beyond that, you wouldn't know anything more.
So yeah, Emmerin shakes his hand and kind of just gives him a curt nod, and then steps back and lets the madness unfold.
So if we are going to go to this barisa, does everybody have enough rations to get there? How far of a travel is it?
I just hold out the map and point to where we are and trace my finger down the river to where the island is. About this far, Laya. About this far.
I was asking Ovram, but thank you.
You also could chime in, BK. It's probably about a 5-day travel.
All right. From here to the island of Barisa, just shy of a week, 5-6 days.
And Avram would kind of look and give a nod of acknowledgement. And yes, the rate you travel, it's probably roughly that, yes.
What, by walking? Or by floating down the river?
And you see him kind of get a kind of a glint, and he goes, "Oh, I don't know that we've tried that before."
Didn't Zrinka warn us to stay out of the water?
I mean, all water?
And I'll just like look at Ovram and Emmerin and see if either of them has anything to say.
So you would have not heard anything of this sort. Avram kind of looks for a second and he goes, "Zrinka told you to stay out of the water. Did she explain why?"
She did not know.
Oh, that's an odd thing. I wonder. I don't travel these parts very much, that is for certain, but I've never heard anything of the sort.
All I'm saying is that might be quicker, because I only have 1 day's worth of rations with me. Rather than going all the way back, buying more rations, buying more supplies, might be able to find a way down the river.
I also have a few extra I could share if you needed.
Do we have enough for everybody?
I don't.
He doesn't eat.
I mean, if they said, do you have like 10 days worth of rations? Because it's a 5 to 6 day travel and I only have 1 day's worth.
I have 8, so I could share some. And don't you have some of your berries?
Yeah. Look, I just really want to go down the river. If I'm being honest.
All right, Orlo, how do you propose we do that?
I haven't made it that far yet. Let's get to the river.
I'm an ideas man.
And see what happens.
Well, we need to let Ovram rest for the night. So we may as well make camp here.
As they're setting up camp, I want to go out the front door and look along the riverbed, and see if I see any like boats or rafts or anything at all tied up there around the area.
You would not see anything tied up there. There is a small dock that kind of like juts out a little bit into the river, not super far, just enough that. What's that?
Just around the riverbed.
I look once more.
Everybody gets one.
So yeah, it juts out just a little bit into the water, but there's nothing like tied up. It looks like there may have been at one point, but not any longer.
Okay. Just gonna ponder
Okay.
overnight. Just yeah. So I'm just gonna go find a corner and sit down in that corner with like my back into it and just rest.
Okay. So you guys kind of settle in for the night a little bit. The fire in the middle of the room is still probably burning quite well. There was a lot of stuff on it. It was burning very well when you came in. You don't really have a whole lot to set up if you guys want to set up like sleeping bags or some of those things. But you are out in the courtyard of this this keep. The center of it is open to the air. So you can either, if you choose to, you guys can put like tents up, or if you want to like move into one of the side rooms where it is a little bit more covered, that is also an option. But if you want to, do you guys want to do any like watches for the evening, or are you just going to kind of let it go?
I think we should probably do some watches. I'd also like to. I'm just gonna like roll out my bedroll and let the Myconids like lay down on it if they want.
They as you roll it out, they kind of like look at it a little bit, and they like walk over to it and like stand next to it and like just stare at it a little bit.
If you like, you can lay on it. It makes it a little bit more comfortable.
What is lay?
And I'll just kind of like demonstrate and like lay on it and like kind of snuggle in a little.
So
and then I'll get up so that they can try if they want.
So one of the Myconids will kind of like step up onto it, and he'll like walk over, and like he'll go to lay down on his side, but like the side of the cap of his mushroom top will just kind of like keep him in like a side plank almost. And he like shifts around a little bit, like he's snuggling in, and just lays there very confused.
Do you sleep?
Of course we sleep.
How do you normally sleep?
And he kind of like rolls himself up and just like walks over to where the other ones are, and then just like kind of like plops himself in and like shoves his shoulders in and just stands there.
Oh, all right. I suppose you've no need for this then.
I want one.
Myconids never skip leg day.
Like, do you guys know that that meme of that lady who was making a dating profile video about how much she loves cats and wants to hug all the cats?
Yeah.
That's me, but with Myconids.
I just want to go hold the cat.
But I can't. That's crazy.
You're a real fun. At the end of the day, you're a real fun guy, huh?
Yeah.
So go ahead. Who's going to do watches for the evening? Lucas will do one of them. So if you guys don't want to do more than,
Yeah, I'll do one.
Can I volunteer to watch with Luke?
Sure.
I'll do one as well if you guys trust me to do so.
I'm not doing the watch. I'm in the room still. I'm frozen. I'm in the room burning the midnight oil on this one.
He's in the zone. Okay, so then Laya and Luke will do one watch, and then
I guess I could do one with Emmerin.
okay, the two of you can do one as well. So then Laya, would you go ahead and roll me a perception check, and then Emmerin and Orlo also do that, please.
14.
And from Emmerin, 25.
18.
Okay, so the watches go by with no issues. You definitely would hear some like rustling and some noises as the night kind of passed through, but if there is anything else you want to take care of before the next morning, let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Emmerin, you good? Anything else you wanted to cover?
I'll say like while we're getting the watch, say he starts off by himself and he's sitting there at the fire for a little bit, and Orlo, you'll see him. He'll take a little dagger out and kind of draw it just across the top of his arm, and do it on both sides. And he'll let the blood run down into his hands, and he just sits there and he kind of just communes for a second with it, and eventually the blood kind of just hardens and he scrapes it, wipes it off, and then continues on the watch.
I am uncomfortable.
So emo.
I'm very uncomfortable.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah, I just kind of internalize that, and I don't want any confrontation. I don't want to understand what is happening. I've never seen anything like this before, and I'm not quite sure that I want to know.
We're just gonna purge that from the memory and think about it fucking never. Flo, you're going to continue going through the documents that you're going through.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to let them know anything yet, or are you just going to keep going throughout the evening as you're going through all of them?
In the morning, they deserve their rest.
Okay. So then Emmerin, Orlo, you two go ahead and get your sleep. Laya and Luke will do the second watch. Laya, is there anything that you wanted to do with Luke alone in the dark?
I would really just like to see if I could try to get him to talk to me like a normal person. That'd be cool.
How would you like to approach that?
Let's just I'm just gonna keep trying to like casually talk to him and hope that he slowly becomes more at ease with speaking to me.
So as you kind of reach out to him as you guys are talking throughout the evening, you notice that when there's nobody else around, he's, for the most part, pretty fine. He's still, you can tell that he is very much enthralled with you, but he doesn't stutter as much. He doesn't have as much issue looking at you or like actually carrying like an actual conversation. But as soon as you see anybody kind of stir or roll throughout the evening, you see him kind of very much like almost panic a little bit about it.
So he's embarrassed of me. That's what it is.
That's exactly what I said, yes.
Damn it. Not again.
But as the night kind of goes on, like I said, it's a very easy night. Nothing really happens. There's some very strange sounds as like kind of the windows and the broken stones and things shift and creak. But you make sure that everything's safe and nothing has happened. But as the morning kind of makes its way up, he does make a point to kind of take you by the hand for a moment, and he says, as soon as Ovrim told me that you might be in danger, I couldn't help but want to be here, and I hope that at some point maybe we can see things a little bit further along. You at this point have much bigger things to worry about than me, but I would love if we could stay in contact, and I would like to see you as much as I could.
Ooh.
I'ma kiss him.
Just straight up.
Yup.
Okay. So as you do, he it kind of startles him for a second, but he very much leans in and embraces it.
Menacing glare low in the doorway. No, I'm kidding.
Flo's just over there like, but yeah, as the sun kind of starts to crest, we'll go ahead, we'll take a break here, and we will continue on after that.